Shedeur Sanders just pulled the pin on a grenade the NFL didn't see coming. The Cleveland quarterback, once hailed as the next face of a franchise, is officially done waiting. He's demanded a trade, and not quietly. This isn't whispers through an agent or vague social media posts. This is a formal request for an exit, and the timing couldn't be more damning. Because on the other side of Ohio, the Cincinnati Bengals are in total quarterback chaos.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Joe Burrow is out. This time it's turf toe, but not the kind you tape up and play through. This version needs surgery and shelves him for 3 months, minimum. The Bengals, who built their entire identity around Burrow's toughness and timing, are now left staring at a season slipping through their fingers. Their backup? Jake Browning, a serviceable name on paper, but not the guy who's going to carry a playoff-caliber offense through December. That's where Shedeur comes in. Sanders isn't a raw project. He's a polished, pro-ready quarterback with real arm strength, field vision, and confidence that borders on prophetic. He reads defenses like a veteran and executes with poise most rookies only dream of. His skill set doesn't just fit the Bengals' offense, it could unlock it. With Ja'Marr Chase downfield and a timing-based scheme already in place, it's a near plug-and-play opportunity for a team in desperate need of stability. And yet, he's still sitting in Cleveland. Untapped. Undervalued. Unmoved. The roadblocks? They aren't on the field. This has all the markings of something messy: backroom politics, cautious executives, and a league that still doesn't know how to handle a quarterback who enters the room like he already owns it. The hesitancy to move Shedeur isn't about mechanics, it's about perception. And right now, that's costing everyone involved. Especially Cincinnati. Burrow's injury isn't just another blip. It's part of a pattern. Torn ACL. Wrist surgery. Calf strains. Now a toe that's knocked him out during the most crucial part of the season. At some point, injuries stop being bad luck and start becoming identity. Burrow is still elite, but for how long? How many more hits can his frame take before the Bengals are forced to reckon with a truth they've been avoiding? That they need a plan B. And fast. Shedeur Sanders is that plan B. Maybe even plan A within the next 2 years. Bringing him in now gives the Bengals a chance to salvage the season, develop a legit successor, and avoid the nightmare scenario of letting an elite roster rot while they wait for Burrow's next recovery timeline. It's not about disloyalty. It's about longevity. The Bengals can either keep clinging to the version of Burrow they hope returns, or start preparing for the version that might not. Sanders isn't just a fix. He's a future. And the clock is already running. The Cincinnati Bengals are staring at a disaster. Joe Burrow, franchise cornerstone, $275 million man, and the reason this team became relevant again, is sidelined. 3 months. Surgery. Turf toe. It sounds minor on paper, but in reality, it's a season derailer. A cold, hard reset on what was supposed to be another playoff run. And now, the Bengals are stuck in quarterback limbo, desperately looking for answers while the clock ticks. And at the exact same time, Shedeur Sanders has officially demanded a trade. It's not speculation. It's not reportedly considering. It's real. It's public. He wants out of Cleveland. He wants a shot. And there's no team in the NFL with a more urgent, more obvious need than Cincinnati. But here's the part that's raising eyebrows across the league. The trade hasn't happened. Despite the perfect storm of quarterback need, elite receiving talent, and an offensive scheme built for a passer like Shedeur, the Bengals are still sitting on their hands. Still quiet. Still playing it safe. And fans, analysts, and even other teams are starting to wonder, why? Let's start with the obvious. Joe Burrow's injury history isn't just bad luck anymore. It's a pattern. Torn ACL. Wrist issues. A calf strain that lingered. And now turf toe bad enough to warrant surgery and months of rehab. At some point, you stop calling it unfortunate and start calling it what it is, a long-term concern. The Bengals don't just need a stopgap while Burrow recovers. They need a real contingency plan, one that goes beyond Jake Browning. Because let's be clear, Jake Browning is not a long-term answer. He's not even a midterm one. He's a practice squad-level quarterback being asked to steer a championship-caliber roster. That's not sustainable. That's not strategic. That's reckless. And Shedeur Sanders? He's the opposite of reckless. Let's look at the facts. At Colorado, Sanders showcased NFL-level arm strength, elite anticipation, and poise under extreme pressure. His mechanics are clean. His reads are sharp. He thrives in vertical passing systems, exactly like Cincinnati's. With deep threats like Ja'Marr Chase stretching the field and timing routes forming the core of the Bengals' offense, Shedeur's skill set doesn't just fit the scheme, it elevates it. So what's the holdup? That's where the story shifts from on-field performance to off-field politics. Because when a talented, high-profile young quarterback demands a trade, and every team that could benefit acts like he's radioactive, something doesn't add up. Whispers around the league point to something deeper. League politics. Collusion. The kind of quiet, backdoor conversations that never make the headlines but shape careers. Is Shedeur being iced out because of his last name? Because of the spotlight that comes with being Deion Sanders' son? Or is it because he broke the unspoken rule that young quarterbacks should wait their turn, quietly, respectfully, without rocking the boat? Shedeur's not playing by those rules. He's not asking for a handout. He's demanding a shot. And for some front offices, that alone is enough to trigger hesitation. But for a team like the Bengals, that hesitation could cost them everything. Let's talk timeline. Burrow is out until at least mid-December. That gives Shedeur weeks, months, potentially, to learn the playbook, build chemistry with Chase and Higgins, and integrate into the locker room. He doesn't need to start immediately. He needs to exist in the system, to be ready if and when the team needs him, and right now, the chances of them needing him are high. The NFL is a game of windows. Championship windows don't stay open long. The Bengals are in the middle of theirs, and they're not acting like it. Every week without Burrow is a gamble. Every game started by Browning is a potential loss. And in the AFC North? That margin for error is razor thin. The Ravens are surging. The Browns, despite their chaos, are defensively dominant. The Steelers, somehow, are still dangerous. If the Bengals fall behind in this division, there's no coasting into the playoffs. There's no, just get healthy by week 17 plan. It's now or never. And Shedeur Sanders represents now. He's not a rebuild piece. He's not a someday prospect. He's ready to contribute this season and develop into a long-term asset. He can be a stopgap, a backup, or even a legitimate future starter. That's not a luxury. That's a necessity given Burrow's durability concerns. But the league isn't acting like this is about football. They're acting like it's about control. Let's address the elephant in the room. The NFL isn't built to empower players like Shedeur Sanders. Young, vocal, brand-aware, and unwilling to wait quietly in line. He challenges the model. He challenges the power structure. And the reaction to his trade demand proves it. Because if Shedeur were any other backup, less skilled, less confident, less connected, he might have already been traded. But because he's all of those things, teams are suddenly slow to pick up the phone. But the Bengals don't have the luxury of playing politics. Their season is slipping away, and the answer is right in front of them. Failing to act doesn't just jeopardize the season. It sends a message. It tells the locker room that the front office doesn't believe in the roster. That they're willing to let the year burn rather than bring in a player who might cause a stir. That they'd rather lose quietly than win loudly. That's not just bad strategy. That's bad leadership. And if Shedeur does get traded somewhere else, if another franchise takes the leap, gives him the reins, and lets him grow, you know what happens next. He'll thrive. Maybe not right away. Maybe not flawlessly. But a quarterback with his talent, drive, and awareness? He's not going to sit on the sidelines forever. Eventually, he'll break through. And when he does, the Bengals will have to watch it unfold from a distance, knowing they could have had him. That's the cost of inaction. And when that happens, don't be surprised if Ja'Marr Chase starts to question his timeline. If fans start calling for change. If the Bengals, once again, fall back into being a team with potential that never quite made the move when it mattered most. This is a turning point. The Bengals can be the team that took a bold swing and made the deal that saved their season, or the team that played it safe and watched the season fade into irrelevance. They can show their locker room that they're serious about competing at the highest level, even when the plan goes sideways. Or they can show that without Burrow, they fold. Shedeur Sanders is available. He's willing. He fits. And the time to act is now. No more waiting. No more hoping Jake Browning finds a rhythm that isn't there. No more pretending Burrow will magically return early and fix everything. This is the NFL. There are no guarantees, only choices. And Cincinnati's choice will define more than just the rest of this season. It'll define who they are as a franchise. So, Bengals fans, what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the move that saves the season? Is the hesitation about fit or fear? Are league politics playing a bigger role than anyone wants to admit? Drop your take in the comments. And hit subscribe if you're here for the real stories, the ones that go deeper than the headlines. Because if this trade finally happens, it'll be the one that changes everything. We're at a breaking point. This isn't just a story of a quarterback getting injured. This isn't just another 3-month rehab timeline or another cautious wait-and-see report. Joe Burrow's injury is a franchise-altering moment. And how Cincinnati responds right now will shape not only the rest of the 2025 season, but the next 5 years of Bengals football. Burrow's turf toe is just the latest addition to a growing list of physical setbacks. Torn knee ligaments, calf strains, wrist problems, and now this, all in the prime of his career. And no matter how optimistic fans or execs want to be, the harsh reality is this. Your $275 million quarterback is becoming more and more physically unreliable. That's not hate. That's not doubt. That's just the scoreboard. And what do you do when your franchise player becomes unpredictable? You build stability around him. You prepare for the worst while still planning for the best. And most importantly, you don't let your season ride on a backup quarterback who couldn't start for most CFL teams. Jake Browning is not the plan. The Bengals know it. The locker room knows it. The fans know it. That's why the buzz around Shedeur Sanders isn't just hot, it's blistering. He's the right quarterback. At the right time. With the right skill set. And he wants out of Cleveland. What more needs to happen? This isn't a developmental quarterback begging for relevance. Shedeur has the pedigree. He's proven his leadership. He's been under more scrutiny in college than some NFL players face in their first 5 seasons. Every throw, every decision, every mistake, picked apart in real time by national media. And he still performed. Shedeur played in front of packed stadiums, battled behind a struggling O-line, and still put up NFL-caliber numbers. He thrived in high-stakes moments. He operated under extreme pressure, media, fan expectations, familial legacy, and never cracked. That matters. Because in Cincinnati, the pressure's about to get nuclear. The Bengals aren't just any team. They're a team expected to contend. And when Burrow goes down, that pressure doesn't go away. It just shifts to everyone else, especially whoever's holding the football. Shedeur can handle that. And more than that, he wants to. Let's be real for a second. It's not every day a quarterback asks for that responsibility. Most rookies? They want to sit, learn, wait for the perfect moment. Shedeur? He's running toward it. And the fact that he's being stalled, despite an open roster spot, despite the need, despite the fit, isn't just bizarre. It's telling. There's no football logic keeping him out of Cincinnati. Which means the hesitation is coming from somewhere else. Call it fear. Call it politics. Call it an unwritten rule of NFL culture. But one thing's for sure, this is no longer about whether Shedeur is good enough. It's about whether the league is ready for a player who doesn't wait to be invited. And right now, the Bengals are the team with the most to gain and the most to lose. Let's talk long-term. Burrow comes back in December. Maybe. But even if he's medically cleared, will he be 100%? Will he be mobile? Will he have chemistry with the offense after 3 months off? Even if the answer to all 3 is somehow yes, will it matter if the Bengals are already out of playoff contention by then? Because let's not forget, this team isn't built to rebuild. It's built to compete. Jamar Chase is in his prime. T. Higgins, who may not even be here next year, is on a ticking clock. The defense has enough talent to make a deep postseason run. Wasting this season on a wait-and-see backup is more than passive. It's disrespectful to the roster. That's why a move for Shedeur Sanders wouldn't just be about filling a short-term need. It would be about respecting the moment, respecting the players, respecting the season, respecting the opportunity to do something bold while the rest of the league plays scared. Because let's be honest, a lot of teams are scared of Shedeur Sanders. Not because of his game, because of what he represents. He's a quarterback with leverage, with media power, with confidence, with expectations. The kind of player the old guard isn't quite sure how to control. And when a player like that demands a trade, the silence from the league speaks volumes. But the Bengals don't need to play by the league's rules right now. They need wins. They need stability. They need talent. And Shedeur checks every single box. What happens if they trade for him? Let's break it down. Shedeur gets 2 to 4 weeks to learn the system, build chemistry, get first-team reps in practice. Browning gets a couple starts. If he holds the fort, great. If not, Sanders steps in. Burrow still has time to recover at his own pace, not rushed back, not forced to save the season. The locker room sees leadership from the front office. Players see that management believes in the roster. The fans? They see a team that's willing to take a calculated risk to stay in the fight. And if Sanders succeeds? Suddenly, you've got one of the rarest assets in the NFL. A second quarterback who can win. You can develop him into a long-term backup, a possible future starter if Burrow's body keeps betraying him, or even a massive trade piece down the line. There's no downside, unless your only priority is avoiding headlines. But headlines don't win championships. Quarterbacks do. So the question isn't, why make the trade? The question is, how much longer can the Bengals pretend they don't need to? Because while they stall, other teams are watching. Other teams are lurking. All it takes is one call, one team willing to take the risk, and Shedeur is off the market. And when that happens, it won't just be a missed opportunity. It'll be the missed opportunity. The one that got away. The one that could have changed everything. And years from now, when Shedeur is starting in another city, leading fourth-quarter drives, being everything people said he couldn't be, Bengals fans will remember this stretch of time. The moment the Bengals could have saved their season, and chose not to. So now it's up to them. Do they make the move? Or do they go down quietly? Because the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes won't wait. And neither will the rest of the AFC North. You've got Shedeur Sanders on one side, ready to move, ready to step in, ready to prove he belongs. You've got the Cincinnati Bengals on the other, reeling from the gut punch of Joe Burrow's injury, watching a win-now roster slowly unravel. And in between them? Silence. The trade hasn't happened. The front office hasn't moved. And every day that passes without action raises a bigger, louder question. What exactly are they afraid of? It can't be the talent. That's not up for debate anymore. We've seen the tape. We've seen Shedeur operate under pressure. We've seen him drop NFL-level throws while playing behind a line that barely gave him time to breathe. We've seen him stand in the pocket and take hits that would rattle seasoned pros, and still get back up, reset, and rip the next one. You can call him unorthodox. You can say he's flashy. But what you can't say is that he's not ready. He is. So, if the Bengals truly believe in seizing their Super Bowl window, and not just talking about it in press conferences, then what exactly is holding them back? Fear of distraction? That ship has sailed. The distraction is already here. Burrow's injury is the story. Every single network is speculating on how the Bengals stay alive without him. Every sports desk in America has shifted the conversation from can they win the division to can they even stay in the hunt? A roster this stacked does not deserve to spiral into irrelevance because the front office was too conservative to make a move. Because here's the part that stings the most. This isn't just a smart football decision. It's a necessary one. What happens if Cincinnati keeps waiting? You lose games. You lose confidence. You lose the locker room. Players start to look around and realize that management isn't doing everything it can to give them a chance. That kind of realization doesn't just stay in the background. It spreads. It lingers. Guys like Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson didn't come here to babysit a broken season. They came to win. And if management is unwilling to adjust when the most important piece of the offense goes down, that sends a clear message: we're not serious. But go after Shedeur? Take the chance? It changes everything. It reignites hope, not just for fans, but for the team. It tells everyone in the building that the front office believes this roster is still worth fighting for. That even without Burrow, there's still a way forward. And let's be clear, there's no long-term risk here. This isn't about replacing Joe Burrow. It's about supplementing him. It's about building a stronger quarterback room. It's about preparing for what's already proven to be a repeating trend: Burrow's body betraying him. And again. And again. That doesn't mean give up on him. It means stop pretending it's never going to happen again. Because if you're wrong, and Burrow gets hurt again next year, or comes back this year but isn't truly mobile, then what? You're right back where you are now. Scrambling. Hoping. Losing. Or, you can use this moment to bring in Shedeur. Develop him. Give him live reps if necessary. Build a system where your offense doesn't collapse the second your starter goes down. That's not disloyalty. That's common sense. And frankly, it's what the best teams do. The Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts when they had Carson Wentz. The 49ers kept Brock Purdy ready while their other two quarterbacks dropped like flies. But because they understood something the Bengals are seemingly ignoring: depth wins in the NFL. Boldness wins in the NFL. Playing scared does not. So let's ask the real question again, with no sugarcoating. Why are the Bengals hesitating? If it's the media noise, embrace it. Shedeur brings attention, sure. But he also brings eyeballs, relevance, and juice. And if he wins? Nobody's talking about distractions. They're talking about how Cincinnati pulled off the mid-season move of the year. If it's about Burrow's ego, give him credit. He's not threatened by competition. He's a franchise quarterback, not a fragile one. And if your star QB is threatened by the possibility of a backup doing well in his absence, that's a bigger issue. If it's about Shedeur's confidence, that's exactly what you need. This isn't a charity case. This is the NFL. You want a quarterback who knows he can win games, not one who asks for permission to be great. The Bengals have a decision to make. And every week they wait, every loss they stack, every headline they try to avoid, that decision makes itself. So, what's it going to be? Are the Bengals going to fold under the weight of a single injury? Or are they going to step into the fire and bet on someone who wants to lead? Let us know in the comments. Should Shedeur Sanders be in stripes by now? Or are the Bengals blowing the best chance they've got to save their season? And don't forget to subscribe. Because if this trade goes down, it's going to flip the script on the entire NFL season. And we'll be right here to break it all down.